Hello there everybody, Subbutter92 aka Nightmare, and welcome back to Steins Gate 0. Now then, in the last episode, besides planning a Christmas party, we also got to get a chance to, I guess, experiment. Not really much experiment, but figure out how the Amadeus system supposedly is going to work. So I'm guessing I'm going to be able to talk to her whenever I want. I'm just assuming here, but we'll just have to see. Also, apparently we have got it into our, we just got our first persona switch. That sounded so stupid. We're now in, I guess, Hyajamaho's perspective now. Hyajamaho was remembering. She was remembering the last night she had spoken to Makise Kurisu in person. 2010, 3, 28, 23, 18. That night, Kurisu was whispering to herself a lot. In Victor-Condria University's Brain Science Institute, Maho and Kurisu worked in the same room at the lab. Thus, Maho was forced to hear Kurisu's angry mumblings whether she wanted to or not. A little was fine, but she'd been acting like this all day. It was keeping Maho from concentrating. She finally snapped and turned away from the paper she was writing. English was the language most commonly used at Victor-Condria University. When the other staff and professors were around, she'd always use English, but when it was just her and Kurisu, Maho would often speak in Japanese. Kurisu stopped messing with her luggage and turned around. You know, I'm only now noticing that there was a stark contrast in the art style compared to this Kurisu and the one I got to see in the supposed flashback. It's very interesting comparing the two. This is actually not a complaint. I'm actually just saying it's very interesting seeing the different art styles. I mean... Kurisu apologized and started to scratch the back of her head. Maho decided to calm down by standing up and going to the shelf where the research notes were kept. There were several books she needed for her paper, but they were all up on the top shelf. Damn it! A short person's weakness! That's gotta be probably adorable. This must be someone's idea of a prank, she'd said, as she stared up at a heavy book. She'd decided to try and reach for it, but no matter how she stood on her toes, she came nowhere close. Her tiny little arms seemed to her like dead branches waving in the wind. She bit her lip. After she'd skipped grades to go to college, and then come to work at this lab, she'd had more chances than ever before to hate her small stature. Whenever she walked outside after dark, the cops would stop her. Even with her ID, she couldn't get into bars, and buying medicine and alcohol at drugstores was a pain. Ugh, God. That's gotta suck. The most humiliating part was that no matter where she went, everyone thought she was in middle school. Nobody believed her when she said she was 20. Everything in America was just too big. Kurisu noticed the trouble Maho was having and came over. But Maho was stubborn and decided to pretend nothing was wrong. Kurisu easily reached up to the highest shelf and grabbed the book Maho wanted. Not To be honest, it really isn't. Sometimes I have to duck to get through certain doorways. That's only whenever I'm visiting family, though. I need to stop rambling. Kurisu covered her mouth when she realized she'd said something she shouldn't have. Uh-oh.
ありがとう。助かったわ。日本で何か必要なものがあったら言ってね。送ってあげるから。はい。ありがとうございます。
Kurisu handed over the book as she spoke. And then suddenly her eyes went wide and began to sparkle.
ねえ、先輩。今の話ですけど。今の話ってどの話？独り言ですよ。
Eh? It looked like Kurisu had come up with a new idea. This is a regular occurrence for Kurisu, and Maho was used to it.
それって自我の証明の一つになるんじゃないでしょうか。アマデウスの？はい。確かにあの子がいきなり独り言を言い出したらびっくりするけれど。
No matter how advanced an AI was, it wouldn't talk to itself unless you programmed it to do that. And there was no need, or even point, to a feature like that. If an AI started talking to itself, that might be a good indication that there was a self to talk to. But Maho hesitated to agree with her.
ここではめったなことを口にするものではないわ。魂は神が人間に与えたもうたものである。そう考える人たちが多いことを忘れないで。
Ah, those religious people.
そうでしたね。
Kurisu's expression dimmed. Kurisu and Maho were both treated as heretics in the lab. Especially since they were Japanese and women. Those bastards! And Kurisu was simply too talented. Nobody ever actually did anything, but a lot of the older scientists were definitely avoiding her. Those assholes. Dr. Alexis was the chief scientist, and the fact that he liked the two of them was all that let them do their research in peace. If the other scientists heard what Kurisu had just said, who knows what they'd do. Maho patted Kurisu on the shoulder.
まあ、しばらく日本でリフレッシュしてくることね。それが納得いきません。どうして？向こうの生活だって楽しいと思うけれど。留学するなら大学院ですよ。なんで高校なんですか？仕方ないでしょ。日本では年齢的にあなたはまだ高校生なんだから。教授の思いやりは素直に受けておきなさいな。
Yeah. Maho remembered what Dr. Alexis had said. Kurisu has a fragile personality. All the bickering and labbing is putting her under a lot of stress, and she's at her limit. It might ruin her as a researcher. That's what the professor had said. He was really worried about her.
それに、もともと7月になれば日本に行かなくちゃいけなかったんだから、ちょうどいいじゃない。はい。実はそれも憂鬱で。秋葉原テクノフォーラムだったかしら？公園なんて慣れてないし、何をどうしていいのか。
Don't worry, you'll do great.
サイエンス誌に論文が載った以上、これからもどんどん増えるわよ。練習しておかないとね。やだな。
Kurisu whispered to herself. Maho didn't like being around lots of other people either, so she knew how Kurisu felt. But there were a lot of scientists who wanted to be published in a major journal, then go on to give public lectures. And she'd beaten out many of them to win that honor. People were jealous. She needed to fulfill her responsibilities, even if just to shut them up. Maybe I'm not that much better, though. Maho silently laughed a little and hated herself for doing it. Maybe I'm just as jealous as they are. That feeling, which was a little like fear, was something that she always felt. The girl in front of her was just that different from Maho. Someone she could never reach, no matter how hard she tried. Someone who'd surpassed everything she'd ever done almost instantly.
Senpai?
Kurisu was peering into her face, confused. Maho felt flustered.
日本でお父さんには会うの?
Yeah, meeting your, scumbag of a father. She'd heard that Kurisu's parents weren't divorced, but that they were separated. Her mom was still in America, and her dad was in Japan. After Maho said it, she'd wondered if that was too personal a question. But Kurisu smiled a little.
実は父から招待状が届いたんですよ。へえ。
I'm gonna steal your work.
夏頃新しい理論の発表会をするそうです。それを見に行こうかと思ってます。新しい理論って？
Kurisu's smile changed into a small expression of consternation.
まだ詳しく聞いてないんですよね。相対性理論に関することらしいんですけど。
Maho felt like she was hiding something, but didn't question her anymore. Like she was, sorry.
気をつけて行ってくることね。お土産期待しているから。何がいいですか？そうね。せっかく秋葉原に行くのだから、何か珍しいものがいいわ。秋葉原詳しいのよね。なんでです？休憩時間によくそういうサイト見てるじゃない。
Oh!
まさかアマデウスが喋ったんですか？あの子はそんなことしないわ。あなた、私が後ろにいるのに動画に夢中になってて気づかないことがあるわよ。まさかバレていたなんて、自分のうかつさが憎い。
Kurisu actually seemed upset for once. This really surprised Maho.
先輩、お願いです。どうか他の人たちには内密に。別に隠すことはないと思うけれど。
The idea of sharing a secret with Kurisu made Maho happy.
わかった。言わないでおくわ。助かります。
Oh, and she's back to her normal self. Kurisu seemed genuinely relieved. Maho continued.
ねえ、あなたが日本から戻ってきたら、アマデウスが独り言をつぶやけるかどうか、二人で検証してみましょう。はい。
Kurisu had a very happy look on her face. It was the face of a born scientist who loved to explore the unknown more than anything in the world. Her smile was as innocent as that of a child who'd just been given a new toy. It was very beautiful. And it was one of the reasons that Maho liked the younger researcher quite a bit. But the promise the two of them made would never be fulfilled. In fact, they would never even meet again. It felt like she was thinking about Kurisu more and more since she'd come to Japan. Maho didn't know if it was because she was in Japan, or because she was talking with the Amadeus Kurisu more often. Or maybe, was it because she'd met the young man named Okabe Rentaro?
私の知らないクリスを知っている人か。
Thinking back, the first day they'd met, she'd broken down and cried right in front of him. It was something she didn't really want to remember. She chased the memories away out of embarrassment.
さては、岡部さんのことを考えていましたね。
Oh. She snapped her head toward the PC monitor. Hi, Amadeus. Kurisu. Maho was in the middle of a conversation with Kurisu.
そうね。
She shrugged her shoulders and tried to ignore Kurisu's mischievous smile.
不思議だと思わない？レスキネン教授が岡部さんのことをあそこまで買っているなんて。2度しか会ったことのない相手なのに、あなたのアクセス権も渡してしまったし、あそこまで信用していいのかしら。
誠実そうな人でしたが。
そう？向上心があるのかないのか、少しつかみどころがない人だったわ。
好きなんですか？
あなたね。
Maho brought her face close to the monitor and glared, but Kurisu seemed unconcerned.
別に取り繕う必要はないでしょ。昨日は本人の目の前だったから仕方ないにしても、今は私たち二人きりですし。
Kurisu may not have looked like someone who would, but she really enjoyed this sort of gossip. Maybe girl talk was the right word. Maho sighed and sat back in her chair. The creaking sound echoed throughout the empty office.
本当にそんな感情はないわ。岡部さんがどんな人なのかさえまだよく分かっていないのだから。
なるほど。まあそうでしょうね。
Kurisu let the matter drop. This bothered Maho a little.
ただ気になるのは。
何です？
いえ、なんでもないわ。
Maho had been spending a lot of time thinking about something since yesterday, to the point where she'd even put off her research. What kind of relationship was there between Kurisu and Okabe? What was Kurisu feeling in the days before she died? She would have liked to ask Okabe, if she could.
先輩、私のオリジナルと岡部さんは知り合いだったんですか？
Oh. Maho shivered. It was as if Kurisu had been reading her mind.
どうして分かったの？
岡部さんの話や先輩の反応などを聞いて判断しました。状況証拠を積み上げただけですが、証明しましょうか？
別にいいわ。あなたのことだから反証の余地もないでしょ。
The way they used words like proof in normal conversation showed that both Maho and Kurisu were scientists at heart.
相手だけが一方的に私との記憶を持っているのでは、対話に齟齬が出てしまう可能性が高いです。
Fair point.
彼と話していく上でどうするのかはあなたに任せる。岡部さんの方から切り出してくるかもしれないし、なんならあなたから聞いてみてもいいわ。
Maho still didn't know if Okabe would even access Amadeus at all. They weren't forcing him to.
知らないふりをするというのは嘘をついているのと同じことになりますよね。
Yeah, I think technically those can coincide together.
興味深いデータが取れそうな気がします。
Oh, uh-oh. Yes, it was interesting. But that was her opinion, as a researcher working on Amadeus. How would Okabe Rintaro feel about it? Wouldn't this be rubbing salt on the wounds in his heart? Maho realized she was getting much too sentimental.
やっぱり日本に来たせいなのかもしれないわね。
It had been a week since she'd arrived. The first thing she'd planned to do was offer flowers. But she still couldn't bring herself to visit the Akihabara Radio Kaiken, the place where Kurisu had died. An 8-story commercial building in front of Akihabara Station. It contains lots of computer and hobby shops. On the 7th floor, there's a plate reading, the birthplace of personal computing. abbreviated as Radicon. Oh. Huh? Is that somebody I'm supposed to recognize? The sun was setting earlier now that December had arrived. Nakase Katsumi was surprised by how quickly it had gotten dark while she was out rummaging through the cosplay shops. Nakase Katsumi. The wheeled suitcase on the ground next to her felt heavy. She'd done her best to jam everything she'd bought today inside, and it was bursting at the seams. Still, spending a whole day shopping with her cosplay friends was a lot of fun. She felt tired, but it was a good tired. Her footsteps were light as she walked back to the station. Hey, Mayuri!
わかる？だって今日はいっぱい買い物できて超楽しかったもん。満足満足。ふぶきちゃんのおかげでまゆしーも楽しくお買い物できたよ。付き合ってくれてありがとう。まゆしーのためならお茶の子さいさいだって。
Oh, so Mayuri's got a good friend. Wait. Have I met this character? Oh my god, my memory is drawing a blank. Fubuki tried to grab her friend, Shina Mayuri, for a hug. Mayuri dodged out of the way. Mayuri may have looked like an airhead, but she was actually quite athletic. Fubuki, by the way, was Nakase Katsumi's cosplay name. Katsumi was in her second year of high school. She and Mayuri were the same age, but were total opposites. Katsumi was boyish and athletic, and when she cosplayed as a male character, she attracted more female kameko than male ones. She kinda looks like Chie Satonaka from Persona 4. Or am I the only one seeing that? Kameko. Those who appear en masse at cosplay and anime events, and use expensive SLR cameras to take pictures of scantily clad cosplayers. The so-called low anglers, actually perverts, men who take upskirt pictures of cosplayers in Akihabara and at Kamima, are not considered true kamiko. A true kamiko must be a gentleman at all times. Two more people! Hi! The four friends had gone to cosplay shops along Yugawawa, Maiden's Road, and Tokyo Hands in Ikebukuro, and moved to Akihabara and visited several more. Okay, give me a second here. Tokyo Hands. A home improvement chain based out of Tokyo, but unlike most such stores, which have large buildings outside the city centers, Tokyo Hands has many department store-style buildings located around major train stations. Tokyo Hands stores also carry a wide variety of products, from professional-grade tools and materials to fishing and variety goods. The nickname of a street near the east exit of Ikebukuro Station. It has many doujinshi and anime merchandise stores for female-oriented anime, and is known as a mecca for female otaku. Oh. Yugawawa. Yugawaya. There we go. A large specialty store founded over 60 years ago that sells craft and hobby supplies, fabric and trinkets. There are over 60 of them, mostly in eastern Japan, but also all around the country. Wait, what was that last one? Hold on. No, wait. Go back. Kamima. Comic Giga Market, an otaku festival held every year in August and December at Tokyo Big Sight. Oh, okay. This was all part of their final preparations for Winter Kamima. Kaede! I wasn't expecting to run into Danganronpa characters. Very simplistic design that actually looks pretty nice. Kaede sounded a little worried. Her real name was Kurishima Kaede, and she used her real name as her cosplay pseudonym. She was 3 years older than Katsumi, and in college. Kaede was extremely feminine, and her measurements were just like the ones magazine models claimed to have, but she was very shy. People had tried many times to persuade her to enter the pageant at her college, but she'd always refused, saying, "Normal events are kind of scary." Amen. But even so, cosplaying at Kamimo with the rest of them was something she looked forward to.
だったらこの際だからまゆりちゃんを手伝ってみんなで衣装作りはしない？
Amayuki. Wait a minute, I think I saw you in the opening theme. Hi. Amayuki proposed. She had very noble, elegant features, but the rest of her was easygoing and laid back. Though Katsumi was a fellow girl, she still thought Amayuki was beautiful. Even her light blue, penetrating eyes lacked the arrogance that beautiful women usually possessed. They were filled instead with a friendly light. Her real name was Amane Yuki. She was a senior at Meiji University, and in the same club as Kaede. She was the oldest of the four. She'd once tried to give up cosplay and focus on job hunting. After just 6 months, she'd given up on work and gone back to costuming. Since then, she'd been spending more time with Katsumi and the others.
そんなお手伝いしてもらうなんて悪いよ。
Everyone smiled at her, but Mayuri quickly shook her head.
今日だって材料代を半分以上も肩代わりしてもらっちゃったでしょ。マユシーはそれだけで本当に嬉しかったから。私たちの衣装を作ってくれるんだから出さない方が申し訳ないよ。それに私、まゆりちゃんみたいに素敵な衣装を自分でも作ってみたいなってずっと思ってたの。マユシーの衣装ってクオリティ高いもんね。ほんと感謝してるんだから。
Well, it's good to know that you're popular, Mayuri. That's good.
ね、まゆりちゃん、ぜひ手伝わせてほしいな。じゃあみんなで作ろう。
Yeah, sweet moments like this are nice. Katsumi knew that it made Mayuri really happy when someone praised her cosplay outfits.
でもそれとは別にね、マユシーはみんなにお願いしたいことがあったのです。お願い？実は。
Does it involve the Christmas party? Mayuri told him about an event that had quickly become a mainstay of the Japanese holiday year.
クリスマスパーティーを開くから、ユキさんも楓さんも吹雪ちゃんもぜひ来てほしいなって。クリスマスパーティーか。どうかな。私行きたい行きたい行きたい。
Wonder why Amane looks, worried. Katsumi's only plan for Christmas Eve was dinner with her family, so she raised her hand instantly. None of her friends at school wanted to do anything that night. She'd been a little put out about that, since it meant they all had boyfriends.
私も大丈夫だよ。
That's good. Kaede also nodded, but Yuki seemed a little hesitant.
私はどうしようかな。
Why is that?
もしかして戦略があるの？そりゃユキさんほどの美貌の持ち主ならイブのデートに誘ってくる男子は山ほどいるでしょう。
I'm sorry, just the way she said that just seemed funny to me.
そんなことないよ。そうなの？だったら私がほっときません。
What?
ふぶきちゃんとクリスマスにデートできるなら他のどんな予定よりも優先しちゃう。
Oh my.
ユキさんラブ。 ちゃんはまゆりちゃん一筋じゃなかったの？まゆしーだって楓ちゃんだって大好きだぜ。
Katsumi quickly jumped over to Kaede and gave her a big hug. Kaede was soft and smelled good, and enduring this sort of sexual harassment was nothing new for her. Oh my god!
それでね、ゆきさん。今度、まゆしーに美味しいキッシュの作り方を教えてくれないかな？
You know, I don't think I have ever had a quiche. A traditional French dish made by filling a pie crust with cream, cheese, eggs, meat, and vegetables, then cooking it to a flaky golden... Ah, that explains why I wouldn't eat it. Okay. Yuki was an excellent chef, and had been teaching Mayuri a lot lately. Both Katsumi and Kaede would also occasionally participate in what they called Amane Yuki's cooking lessons.
いいよ。何のキッシュがいい？まゆしーはほうれん草とマッシュルームがいいな。
I can kind of agree with the spinach, but not so much the mushroom.
ハムとトマトとベーコンも美味しいよ。
Okay, listen to Kaede. She knows what she's talking about.
想像しただけでよだれが。わあ、そっか。迷っちゃうのです。それじゃあ両方教えてあげる。本当？そうだよね。いろんな味があった方がみんなも喜ぶもんね。
Yeah, and it's always nice to have variety.
もしかしてクリスマスパーティー用に？うん、そうなのです。あと1ヶ月もないけど、それまでにマスターしたいなって。じゃあ特訓だね。いつにする？明日は？まゆしーは大丈夫。
Katsumi went over her schedule in her head.
ああ、明日か。私、友達と約束が。私はバイト。
Katsumi really wanted to go, so she was pretty disappointed. She would have loved the chance to eat one of Yuki's good quiches. As she thought about the quiche, her stomach began to rumble. It was about time for dinner. Yuki and Mayuri worked out the time and place for their meetup.
場所は私の下宿先だとちょっと遠いから。ラボはどうかな？いいよ。頑張って作り方覚えるぞ。楽しいパーティーになるといいね。
This is just so nice. Even the music actually fits the mood, I think.
まゆし、サンタさんの衣装を作るからみんな着てくれる？
Wait a minute. Are we just gonna gloss over the fact that there's a TV reporter over there that says reports of an epidemic outbreak in Japan? Are we just gonna gloss over this?
ゴミ物分の他にさらに作るんだ。まゆりちゃん、気合入ってるね。
Wait, what was she talking about? Santa outfits?
まゆしはやる気満々だよ。
Oh my god. Mayuri posed like she was cheering.
サンタ服なら可愛いミニスカートのやつがいいな。白のニーソに赤いブーツとか合わせて。楓ちゃんはいいけど、私そういうの似合うかな。
Katsumi spoke to Mayuri and Yuki without any confidence in her voice.
本当は可愛い服の方が好きなくせに。
There was nothing Katsumi could say. She was right. It bothered Katsumi a lot that she looked like a boy. Really? She doesn't really look like a boy to me. And she knew that sort of clothing didn't look right on her. Still, at heart, she was a young girl and she wanted to wear cute clothes.
任せて任せて。 吹ちゃんに似合うのちゃんと作るから。おお、さすが俺の嫁。結婚して吹雪ちゃん調子いいんだから。ダルくんみたいなこと言っちゃダメだよ。あの変態紳士さんと一緒にされるなんてショックかも。ちなみにまゆりちゃんも一緒に着るんだよね、サンタさんの衣装。じゃなくって可愛いんだからもっとコスしようよ。でもマユシーは作るの専門だから。意義あり、そんなのもったいないです。もう吹雪ちゃんまで。それに岡部さんもまゆりちゃんの素敵な姿見たいんじゃないかな。オカリン
Mayuri made a weird noise as soon as she heard that name.
オカリンさん？ああ、マユシーの彼氏ね。
Oh! Oh! Wow. Dude, you look like you haven't slept in ages. I was, not ready for that. Katsumi had met him many times. He was tall, but always looked pale and thin, and whenever he laughed, he seemed kind of sad. But from what Mayuri had said, until just a half a year ago, he'd been a totally different person. She said he was haughty and arrogant, but also kind and a great leader. Mayuri was known to let her emotions influence her judgment, so Katsumi didn't know how much of that description was accurate. Mayuri started to freak out even more after hearing the word boyfriend.
あのね、吹雪ちゃん。オカリンとマユシーはそういうのじゃないよ。またまた。
Oh my god! Yuki and Kaede weren't buying it either. Honestly, Okarin and Mayuri seemed more like an old wedded couple that had been together for years than boyfriend and girlfriend.
本当だよ。だってオカリンには他に好きな人がいるのです。
Mayuri sounded totally unconcerned, which made Katsumi even more surprised.
そうなの？本当に？
Who could have guessed? It was Yuki, the eldest, who spoke first.
ごめんね。なんか余計なこと言っちゃった。マユシーとオカリンは幼馴染で仲良しさんっていうだけだから大丈夫だよ。そう。
Like that, the atmosphere... Mayuri's smile seemed very sad to Katsumi. She felt the sudden impulse to give her schoolmate a hug.
それより。
Eh? Mayuri smiled and walked over to Yuki, as if to blow away the awkwardness.
ねえ、ユキさんは？え？私？さっきの話、やっぱりクリスマスは彼氏さんと過ごすのかなって。
Oh!
本当にいないってば。そう？みんな誤解してるよ。私そんなにモテないし、ここだけの話、年齢と彼氏いない歴が一緒だもの。
First Mayuri, then Yuki. Katsumi was stunned.
そうなんですか？そこまで驚かれるなんて。じゃあユキさん、
Mayuri started to fidget.
Huh?
Eh? You're suggesting Daru?
星田さん？また何を言い出すの、まゆし。橋田さんは変態紳士なんだよ。
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Are you Suzuha's mom? Possibly?
ゆきさんが毒牙にかけられちゃう。
The man that Katsumi and Kaede were insulting was Hashide Itaru, a college student and member of Mayuri's club. He was a hardcore otaku, one of the hybrid types who said he enjoyed both 2- and 3-dimensional girls. And, like Katsumi had said, he was a perverted gentleman. He would say perverse things all day without the slightest shame. Whenever you told him he was a pervert, he would say, "No, I'm a perverted gentleman." He was a dangerous guy. He was doing the cat face. But Yuki didn't seem bothered. She actually looked a little sad.
橋田さんはいい人だけど、なんていうか、私みたいな子、あんまり好きじゃないんだと思う。
What? My reaction exactly. Mayuri was shocked far above and beyond her usual limit. She was so surprised she let go of her suitcase's handle and let it fall to the ground. And instead of picking it up, she started talking frantically.
そんなことないよ。ダル君はね、ユキさんに萌えキューンだよ。きっとそうだよ。マユシーが保証します。夏コミまで初めて会った時もそんな感じだったでしょ？
Oh? Yuki had met Mayuri 4 months ago at Summer Kamima. Katsumi and Kaede had come wearing outfits Mayuri made. Kaede found Yuki at the convention hall, all by herself, and they met up. Afterward, they'd all gone to a party, where she'd met Mayuri's friend, Hashira Itaru. Katsumi had definitely witnessed Yuki and Itaru having a friendly conversation. Ever since then, Yuki and Mayuri and Daru had become friends, and Yuki had started going to Mayuri's club, the Future Gadget Laboratory. In other words, Yuki and Itaru had been talking ever since Summer Kamima. But still, Yuki chuckled sadly and shook her head.
見てればわかるよ。なんとなく避けられてるなって。クリスマスパーティーも、だから私は行かない方がいいんじゃないかなって思って。橋田さんはもっとこう妹系の女の子がタイプじゃないのかな。
Ew? Gross?
しかもものすごく気が強くてね、お兄ちゃんを尻に敷いちゃうような妹。例えば鈴葉さんみたいな感じ？それは。
Uh-oh. For some reason, Mayuri looked like she was about to cry. She seemed to want to say something but couldn't bring herself to. Her lips were quivering.
Mayuri-chan? なんでもないのです。
But it certainly didn't look like nothing. Katsumi couldn't bear to watch her anymore. So she gave in to her impulses.
マユシー、そんな顔しないで。マユシーは笑ってる時が一番可愛いんだから。ね、ほらほら、笑わないとくすぐっちゃうぞ。
Uh-oh.
こちょこちょこちょこちょこちょ。
Might want to run! Katsumi snuck behind Mayuri and started to tickle her under her arms. Jeez. Ah! Okay, was not prepared for that. Mayuri's laughing so hard she was crying, and this time Katsumi succeeded in giving her a hug. Even though they were in public, she started rubbing her cheeks against her cheek. Okay. Chie, you leave her alone! Ew! Freaking throw her into the corner! Jesus. Mayuri tried to run away, but Fufuki grabbed her and started to kiss her all over. Okay, that's a bit too much. Yeah, you completely wore yourself out sexually harassing her. In the end, Katsumi kept clinging to Mayuri until they reached the station. She felt a lot better, but catching Mayuri when she tried to escape used up a lot of energy. Either way, now that she was satisfied... She shuddered and turned back towards Mayuri as an image came into her mind from out of nowhere. Whoa, what the hell? What the hell? What the hell is this theme playing? What was that all about? Mayuri and Yuki split up with them in front of the station since they were taking a different train. Thank you. Katsumi stood still and watched the two of them until they were out of sight. She felt like she was about to cry and looked up to stop the tears from falling. Kaede was standing next to her, looking worried. Kaede ain't taking shit, she can tell. Even after Kaede asked, Katsumi wasn't sure if she should tell her. There was no way she'd believe it anyway. Katsumi and Kaede had known each other for 2 years. Since their ages were so different, they treated each other like an older and younger sister. So at times like this, Kaede was really sharp. Kaede didn't talk much, but that meant she paid a lot of attention to the people around her. Part of it was also that Katsumi wasn't good at hiding things. She just couldn't lie to Kaede no matter what. She gave up and decided to say it.
マユシーがね。うん。死んじゃうんだ。え？何？どういうこと？
Katsumi remembered the nightmares and the things she kept seeing no matter how much she didn't want to.
夢を見るんだよ。夢？夏ぐらいからかな。毎日毎日夢の中でマユシーが死んで、その度に私や楓ちゃんは泣いて泣いて、でもどうすることもできなくて。
Interesting. Does that raise the possibility that there is somebody else that has the reading Steiner? Or at least a variation of it? Maybe instead of, you know, memorizing everything that happens in each world line, like, she says she has these dreams, multiple. So, what if, okay? What if she kind of has a sort of reading Steiner, where she can kind of see other world lines?
夕べ見た夢なんか最悪だった。私たちの目の前で突然マユシーが倒れて動かなくなっちゃうの。そのマユシーをね、オカリンさんが悲鳴を上げながら抱きしめて大きな声で叫んでて、ねえ、どうしちゃったんだろう私。なんでこんな夢ばっかり。落ち着いて、吹雪ちゃん。多分疲れてるせいよ。そうかな。そうなのかな。だってまゆりちゃん、今日もすごく元気だったでしょ。
Kaede gave Katsumi a gentle shoulder hug.
だから大丈夫。私、やだよ。マユシーが死んだりしたら。
None of us do.
そんなことありえないわ。絶対に。絶対に。絶対よ。うん。
Kaede's words made Katsumi calm down a little. She was glad to have an older friend like this.
とにかく気のせいよ。そんな悪いこと起きるはずがないでしょ。
Okay. Her hand squeezed Katsumi's shoulder tightly. Being held like this made Katsumi feel a lot better.
ごめんね。変なこと言って。
But that night, she had the nightmares again. Oh. That seems like a good place to stop. Looks like the next episode we're gonna be in Suzuha's perspective. Okay. Spooky. Seems to have nightmares. And they're a lot of times just of Mayuri dying. So my thought process is that maybe she does have a sort of reading Steiner. While Okabe can remember everything from all of the world lines, what if she, and only possibly whenever she is sleeping, she can have visions of other world lines of people she's affiliated with? I mean, we know in Steins Gate that Okabe had witnessed Mayuri die a lot. So maybe because he tried so many times just to save Mayuri that certain people like Fubuki, people that are connected to Mayuri. Although if that's one of the conditions of them being connected to Mayuri, then why haven't Yuki and Kaede had those dreams, those nightmares? So there's gotta be something up with this Fubuki girl. Wonder. But I'm not entirely sure what to make of this. Also, I'm gonna go ahead and hand it to Steins Gate. Good lord, the music choices actually fit the scenes really, really well. Like, I find myself getting so just absorbed into it, I tend to forget that it's a damn novel. A really good novel so far, honestly. I'm gonna have to wait a couple days before I'm allowed to record more of this. Shit! But anyway, like I said, that is where I'm going to end it. And it looks like we're gonna get started back into Suzuha's perspective. Damn. I'm gonna go stick with happy thoughts, but okay. Could somebody kind of point me to some of these music themes, please? Because they're really good to listen to. Don't point these themes out to me if, like, I don't know, in a YouTube link, because if I go, because there's a chance that if I go there might be spoilers in the comments below, and I want to avoid that at all costs. So, I guess just, what is the name of a couple of those, like, the darker, well, for one, what's the name of this theme playing right now? And then, what's the name of the theme that played during Fubuki, you know, talking about those visions? I just like listening to the themes. Plus, I'm going to see if they're on SoundCloud, you know. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. El Sai Kanguru.